All right. Happy Sunday. Today is a focused practice on our conscious breath, to bring an awareness to each breath and practice such through movement. And it comes from trying to figure out how to calm the mind and become focused so I can be a productive person at school. And what I found was that over the last couple of weeks, through reading and investigating, that conscious breath work is the key to beginning to be able to concentrate and control your mind. So this affects the practice today in two ways. One of which, when I was reading about breathwork or pranayama as an echo discipline, that kind of uncovered a different language that I didn't find in yoga through tradition. And then in tradition, I also uncovered how breath was important. So I was trying to study those two things and put them into my practice, which is very intuitive and changes from day to day. So today's practice is just practicing that conscious breath. And so as a reminder, when we go into practice, I felt it was really important to bring the language of consent, as breath work can trigger and uncover traumas that perhaps we were not aware of. It brings an awareness to them. And in that, I invite you to, if the breath work is not working for you or you're feeling uncomfortable, to move in any way that feels right to you as it's your practice. So you always have a choice in the breath work. Today we'll be using an even breath work throughout. The goal of this practice is to keep that even aware breath as we inhale and exhale. We're going to do so with our movement. So your movement may come faster or slower than mine, and you may need to modify in any way that you need to. So I invite you to use props if you need them, and I will offer you suggestions. And Nala will be here for entertainment as well. So with that being said, we're going to come into a seated position. There will be movement in this practice, but I invite you to practice in any way that you are called to. And I hope that this will will impart some calmness and clarity in your heart and your mind. So coming into a seated position, we're going to bring the hands together at the heart center. Press gently on the heart center, just lifting up. And we're going to bring an awareness to our breath as we inhale and exhale. And with each inhale, lengthen the spine up a little bit taller, tilt the chin. Let the ears open inward to hear the breath, making that gentle sound. And exhale. Again, like last week, I invite you to use the words I breathe in, I breathe out, and as we cultivate this space to hear our breath in practice together today, I invite you to adjust yourself in any position that allows you to be open to your inner voice and your inner breath. I breathe in, I breathe out. Keeping that awareness, we take the hands up to the sky, the eyes can stay closed or open. Inhale, I breathe in. Exhale, I breathe out, holding the hands overhead. Again, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. On the next inhale, go ahead and reach up, lift the heart up, inhale. Exhale, circle the arms behind you, fingertips point away. Inhale, go ahead and lift the heart up again, and exhale and fold down. Relinquish the breath. Allow it to flow naturally, and just allow yourself the sweetness of that. And then when you're ready, you can roll up, and we're going to start with a sun salutation. And so when I talk about the conscious breath, I'll give you some frameworks that I use that I find that is useful for me in breathing consciously and with awareness throughout my practice. These are things that I learned through practicing Ashtanga, but I'm taking them in a different direction because I'm not looking for the posture itself or that end goal. I'm just looking to see if I can flow and transition in between familiar movements to me. So my sun salutation will also be informed by what my body wants to do. And in this way, I'm using movement to be aware of the breath in my movement. So that often looks like asymmetry, and I try not to judge myself on my asymmetry. And sometimes that comes out like, what is she teaching? What is that? And so I invite you to do what you feel feels right and explore that with a conscious breath. Because that's the practice today. So we're going to do sun salutation with some variations, much like we did at the Y when I was teaching at the Y. I'm going to dodge Nala's teeth and claws while I do it. All right, so we're standing at the end of our mat, and I'm going to do the same thing with my breath here and get used to where my footing is. Standing up nice and tall, listening to the hum of the air condition. Letting my feet ground in, I breathe in, I breathe out, I breathe in, I breathe out, and lifting my arms up again. Inhale, I breathe in, holding here, I breathe out, inhaling again, and exhaling and diving down. Softening the knees, maybe shuffling a little bit. I'm going to take a couple of breaths here. I'm going to breathe in and breathe out and settle into this posture. Maybe clasp my elbows, let my spine unwind, or support myself any way that I need to on the ground. I breathe in and I breathe out. Inhaling to lengthen out. Hands can go on the shins or blocks. Knees are soft. Tailbone lifting. Lower belly dropped in. I'm going to hold this breath and feel the equanimity of this posture, shifting my weight, trying to find that balance here. Maybe shifting to my shins so that I can feel a little bit more active. I'm going to lengthen out one more time. And exhale and fold and step back into a plank. Gonna have to move, Nala. Breathing here. Inhaling. And exhaling. Let's see what happens. Taking an easy back bend, inhaling. And exhaling. Child's pose is where I like to go to, relinquishing the breath, relinquishing my expectation. And since it's first sun salutation, this is where I'm going to go, and I'm going to hide my hands. Coming onto the hands and knees. And this is like a real moment where I actually am practicing in the moment. So Nala is encouraging me to practice in the moment. So to stay safe, I'm going to be aware of my breath as well as my surroundings. And I'm going to keep myself safe with that breath and that movement. Couple of cat and cows here, pressing gently into the earth, using the earth to feel that equanimity, the push and pull that you feel in your body as you press into the earth with the breath. Next inhale, find a gentle back bend and arch. And exhale into into downward dog. Couple breaths here, spreading the shoulders, pushing into the ground, and again finding that equanimity here. Heels reaching, thigh bones lengthening, pulling up into the hip bones. Find that space by tucking the pelvis. When you're ready, walk or jump the feet into your hands. Make a conscious decision as you breathe. Inhale. And exhale to fold. Inhale, you're going to rise up any way that's calling you. Push the feet into the ground. Use that equanimity. Press into the ground. Use the breath to rise up. Inhaling. Letting the breath be the thing that rises you up. And exhaling to your center. Here I bring my hands back to prayer and press gently just to remind myself of balance. And then inhale, back up again. Exhale to flow. Inhale to lengthen out. Exhale to step or jump back into plank. Inhale. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, rising up to your back bend. Exhaling through child's pose if you want into downward dog. Find movement here if you need to, or stillness. Be aware of the breath, listening to the breath. Equally pushing and pulling. Again, inhaling, looking at the hands. Exhaling, hold that posture. On the next inhale, make your feet come towards your hands. Exhale. Inhale to rise up. Exhale to the heart center. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, diving down. Inhale, lengthening out. Exhale, folding, stepping back, plank, inhale. Holding here. We're going to rise to the sky with our right arm. We're going to rotate over. Just slide that left arm in a little bit. Rotate the elbow towards the end of the mat. Keep breathing consciously. Inhale and exhale as you hold this position. Feel what muscles engage here. You want the shoulder to be strong and stable. And you can drop the left knee down if you need to. We're going to rotate the body over, lifting that right left rib cage up and to the right, and then lift the arm up towards the sky, looking up if you want. And some conscious breaths here, through the trembling, through the challenge. Maybe taking an extension here on the exhale. And inhaling and exhaling, coming through. Adjusting yourself. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So the right arm comes towards the center of your mat. The eye of the elbow rotates till the end of the mat. The hand is just under the shoulder. And I'm going to rotate the body and then use that stability to lift up, pushing my right chest up into my left, still looking down, using my right knee if I need to. And if I feel good here, I'm going to take a look up, still breathing. Trying to bring ease and smoothness to this. And a sense of adventure. Inhaling and exhaling through. Lower the knees down here. Open them wide and sit back. Take the hands in front of you with the palms together. Drop the head in between and then bring the hands back towards your neck or shoulders. Take some conscious breaths here. Rising back up. Coming back into downward dog. Note the heat in your body. And here in Florida, the heat and the breeze. Oh my goodness. But there is a breeze, which is so beautiful. And walk your feet in or jump them in. Lengthen. Find that breath. And exhale, fold. Inhale to rise up. And exhale to the heart center. And coming to a seated position. So in order to assure a short practice, I worked out with weights so that I would not overdo the strength portion of this class. And that is my way of being gentle to my body, but breath work is very important. So if you're looking for strength in a practice, I recommend choosing a practice that strength is a component of and working your working your way towards that goal. Today is more of a practice of using our breath intentionally through movement. So I'm going to challenge you with some fun stuff today, which is some pranayama. And oh my goodness, so this is one of those breaths that you have permission not to do. So this one is one where we're trying to hold our breath for 45 seconds, which I don't even know how long that is or how long I hold my breath when I do this practice, but it is to awaken your heart center. So in some of the traditions that I have read about or read from or followed or practiced, and this one is a of Yogi Bhajan. It's an advanced pranayama. I don't want that to scare you off, but it's a good practice in why it's important to understand the language of consent. And it is a way of giving your body what it needs to understand that. And I feel like that's an important thing for me personally in my yoga practice, because I have always struggled with where to inhale and exhale as traditionally taught. And so giving myself permission to try other ways has been a revolutionary thing. So this breath is very, very simple. We're going to interlace the hands together and cross the thumbs over. And it's a light cup, it's not intense. And you're going to hold it by your heart. And I like to imagine what the ancient texts say when they're teaching this, and what teachers have included in their classes as well, which is I'm going to breathe into the back of my heart. So as I inhale, I'm going to imagine that I'm going to do it. I'm going to breathe so that my chest expands very slightly because my rib cage is expanding, because that's natural when you breathe. And I'm going to hold that in, I'm going to hold that. And I'm going to hold it as long as is possible. And then I'm going to exhale it any way that I need to. And the goal is a smooth breath. So I'm going to be gentle with my body. I want it to be as gentle. I don't want to exhale because I'm out of breath. I want to try to challenge myself to retain the breath. So this is where you have permission to do what feels comfortable to you. This is a practice that's said to be beneficial from 1 minute to 5 minutes. So we won't be doing it long. When you inhale, you're going to picture just behind your heart, and that's where the breath is held, and maintain that idea that that's where the breath is held. And as you exhale, you're going to picture that gentle transition of where it becomes an exhale. And that they say that that's 12 inches in front of your nose. That's the spot, and there's actually a name for it. There's a name for all those parts of breath, but I won't get into these now. But for me, it speaks as breath in a less in a physiological way, but more in a esoteric and spiritual way. So it's psycho-spiritual for me, but it doesn't have to be. It's a good mechanism for learning to control your mind. And again, I invite you to do what calls you in this. So for women in Kundalini yoga or in those tantric traditions, the left hand is over the right. For men, the right hand is over the left. It's always nice to experiment, I find. And the elbows are going to be parallel. It's held right in front of the heart center where we placed our hands. It's a very light grip, and it's not even a grip exactly. It's kind of a gentle pull. So it feels beautiful on the shoulder blades here. So that's what we're going to do. And then you just close your eyes because it's an inward gaze. And we're going to begin with an inhale breath in. And you're just holding the breath, retaining the breath. And when you need to, exhale out. And then begin again. Inhale. So some wonderful check-ins while you're doing this is to put the tongue gently on the hard part of the palate of the tongue, or roof of the mouth, I mean. Exhale when it calls you. Take one more breath in, one more cycle. On the exhale, release your hands down. Take some long, deep breaths in, being aware of the breath and the sound of the breath. And then blink the eyes open. We're going to do just a few neck circles around. Still being conscious of the breath. I inhale, breathe in, and I breathe out. As the chin rests to the chest, go ahead and reverse the direction with an inhale. And when we come to the center, let the chest rest on the chin rest on the chest. And then inhale and bring the head back up. Bring the hands together at the heart center. This has been a very brief but very, I feel like a very productive practice for me, in that I felt a physiological response to my breath rather than a psycho-spiritual, which I find is very helpful. And I hope that you also find balance and equanimity in the breath work and the exploration of such. Let's take a breath together, pressing gently on the heart center. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhaling. Just bringing the hands to the third eye. Retaining that breath for a moment. And then letting it release. And for each and all of you, I wish you many blessings and Sat Nam Namaste. And I hope you have a great week. And I hope this is a helpful practice for you. Have a great day.